All right, so you've launched your product on Amazon, you're doing pretty well, you're bringing in some revenue, and you're also scooping out some profits out of your revenue. But what after this? What do you do once you have figured it out? What do you do once you have successfully launched your product? You are making some money, you're pulling in some profits. What after this? If you've passed all of the previous filters, the next thing that you need to think about is scaling. Scaling is basically increasing the size of your business in the most simplest words. When it comes to scaling your business on Amazon, it means you need to increase your revenue and eventually also increase the amount of profits in dollars that you make per day, per week, and per month. In my previous conversation with Jelena from Amazonia PPC, I asked her this specific question. Let's see what she had to say. When is it right for them to even think about scaling, right? Because people worry about things in advance much before that they even get into that state. So that would be the question that I also ask, or I would expect that any community member should ask themselves. When should you start scaling?
That's a very good question. I mean, you should start scaling as soon as you see that, first of all, that you have all the conditions answered. First of all, there has to be a demand in the marketplace, whether
Right.
it's fulfilled with competitors or not. There still has to be some kind of demand. I mean, you can't scale if there's no one to shop the product, right?
Let's stop for a quick second and understand how do we figure out the demand for a particular product or product category. The first thing that you should be looking at when you want to figure out whether there is demand for a particular product or product category in the market is the search volume on Amazon. To do this, just hop over to Helium 10, go to the keyword research tool, type in your primary keyword, which is the most relevant keyword for your product, and let the results pop in. Over here you will see the search volume for all of your keywords that are relevant to your primary keyword and to your product category. If you see the search volume is anywhere above 5,000, it's usually a good signal. And if you see more keywords which are related to the primary keywords having volumes upwards of 5,000, again that is a good signal and you can check that off your list. The second thing that you can check out to understand the demand in the market is the average number of units all the listings are selling who are on page 1 for your most primary keyword. To do this, just hop over to amazon.com, search your product, open up X-Ray, which is the Helium 10's Chrome extension, and check out the sales column, which will show you the average number of units sold per day for those products in the last 30-day time span. The third thing that you can do to understand the demand for a product in the market is to look at the quantity of reviews that are there for the listings that are listed on page 1 when you search for your primary keyword. If you see listings which have upwards of thousands and thousands of reviews, that basically means that these listings have been selling for a while and they are still selling and existing on page 1. Therefore, you can assume that there is some demand in the market. Certainly. Something else I personally like to see when I'm looking at the demand in the market is the age of the listings. For this, again, I open up the Helium 10's Chrome extension and I click on the sales graph. Then I set my time range to all time, which then gives me an idea about how old this listing is and how long has it been already selling. If it's been selling for more than 12 months and if I see this happening for a couple of different listings on the first page, that means that the market for this kind of product is there and there is consistent demand in the market across the year. This is also a great way to understand the seasonality of a product. Some products are seasonal, which means that they sell in particular months throughout the year, and in the other part of the year they are usually dormant or have less demand in the market. And the very last and the most important thing that I like to check whenever I'm understanding the demand for a product or a product category in the market is to look at the Google Trends data. For this, I hop over to Google Trends, I search for my primary keyword once again, I set my timeline to at least 3 to 5 years, then I just observe the graph to understand if the market is trending upwards, trending downwards, or staying consistent across the past few years of time.
So if you know for sure that there's enough space for you to grow and you have estimated that number, how much you can actually grow, then that's one of the preconditions to meet. Also, you have to have very stable supply chain management in place,
Right.
some kind of system for supplying your inventory, not running out of stock. That's one of the things that are one of the most common challenges of growing. Every growth is
Yeah.
painful. I mean, it's something that has happened a lot this year, especially with the coronavirus crisis. The supply chain was a little bit. It was tricky for a lot of sellers. They lost a lot of money. So that's one of the preconditions definitely to be met, is to have
Yeah.
a stable supplier, very good relationship with your suppliers, whether that is in China or somewhere else.
Just to add a little bit more information over here, going out of stock is not an extremely bad idea. When you're just starting out, you may definitely go out of stock multiple times. It has happened with me as well. But if you go out of stock and if you have been selling well before you went out of stock, Amazon is going to remember your rank and Amazon is going to remember what was your sales velocity. Sales velocity basically means how many units of your product were being bought by customers on Amazon on average per day. Amazon is going to remember this data and give you this leverage of information when you come back in stock. So if you go out of stock, don't panic. Take it easy and just try to come back in stock as soon as you can.
Um, I see a lot of sellers when they're scaling, they already have some systems in place to switch to FBM in case that FBA runs out of stock quickly.
Right.
That's also one of the things that's recommended to do. Not everyone can do it. Not everyone finds it cost effective to do it.
The strategy that Jelena just mentioned is called 3PL. 3PL stands for Third Party Logistics Service. This is a very useful backup when you're selling on Amazon through FBA. If your FBA inventory runs out of stock, you can switch your listing to FBM and then fulfill your orders through your third party logistics service provider, which in simple terms means that you are also going to be storing a partial batch of your inventory somewhere else with some other service provider who has a warehouse. Now, when you run out of stock on Amazon in FBA, what you can do is you can switch your listing to FBM, and when you get orders, you can ask your 3PL service provider to fulfill your orders and send your orders to the customers. This ensures that your products keep selling as long as you don't have inventory in Amazon. And once you have your inventory back in Amazon in the FBA's warehouse, you can then again switch to FBA and continue selling as usual.
Um, and of course, the willingness to lose in order to win. I mean, what I mean by that is to reinvest in your business as it grows. In most of the cases, you will see the same amount of profit as your revenue grows, because the cost will also grow.
Reinvesting in your business is absolutely critical. Don't try to pull out those profits that you're making. You need to keep them in the business. You need to use those profits to grow your business further, to launch more products, to launch more variations, to order more inventory in advance if you know it's going to work well and in your favor. Most entrepreneurs tend to fail in their business because they try to take out as much money as they can as soon as possible, and that is the worst thing that you can do to your business. The more fuel you put into your business, the more dollars you put into your business, the faster it will grow. And that is why you might have heard a lot of people raising funds in the startup culture so that they can scale up their business faster, put in more money in their business to grow their business and reach greater heights.
And when we grow a PPC account, it's done mostly through PPC. But if there are different ways how you can scale an account. Of course, that depends on what kind of approach you want to take, whether it's more aggressive or more conservative. You could also grow linear through expanding your product offerings. Like if you have a yellow version of that product, you launch blue and green and red, and then automatically will have more sales. Then you fight through the ranks. And you could scale a product that sells really well. Make sure you sell more of that, more items of that same product. That's also one of the ways how you could do that. You could also launch more products that are similar. Like, for example, if you're launching, if you already have a brand of shoes, launch socks that are complementary to that products that you already have. And that's something that a lot of brands are doing, that are existing brands on Amazon. So if we're talking about this specific case where you have one product that you're looking to sell more items of, which is one of the most common situations that we encounter in our daily, everyday work. then in that case, you have to be ready to invest more and have to do your research. Like most of the cases through keyword research, there are ways how you can estimate the demand that you have available to you at the present time. And then just see how much it costs, estimate how much cost per click you're willing to give up, how much you're
Right.
willing to pay to acquire the same customer. Um, those would be the preconditions. I mean, having stable supply chain management and being uh, willingness to lose in order to win more market share, I would say, are the most important ones.
Alright, so now I hope you have an understanding of how do you scale your Amazon FBA business. If you like this video, don't forget to like the video. It helps the YouTube algorithm understand that this video was filled with value. Subscribe to the channel, turn on that notification bell so that you're informed when the next video goes up. And don't forget to share this video with your communities so that other people can also benefit from this information. Now, check out this next video to understand how do you identify your maximum CPC that you should be paying so that you don't lose money when you're running ads on Amazon. Or if you're interested, check out this full-length conversation video with Jelena where she drops a lot of value bombs and helps you understand how can you use PPC to your leverage to scale up your Amazon business. Alright, so that's it for this video. I will see you in the next one. Take care.